Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm going to check the audio on my end, wait for some of you guys to come in. Hi, Sister Sonia. Hi. Hello, everyone. Okay, I think I'm good on my end. I'm going to wait for a few of you guys to come in here. I'm just kind of just vibing out and in, kind of my own energy field. This psychic investigation is heating up, guys. It's getting good. It's getting good. Yeah, so you can hear me? Okay, perfect. Sounds good. Because I have to ask because they always mess up on my sound because they don't want me to say this. I just want to say I love you guys. Like you guys have been showing me so much love and lots of new subscribers. So thank you very much for coming on board. I'm going to kind of just chit chat to you guys until we get enough people in here. And first and foremost, I do want to say, please, guys, when you come in here, please subscribe to the channel and put a like on the video. More than half of you guys that watch this channel on a regular basis are not subscribed. And I really need you guys to help me out so that I can get these messages out to the collective soul body of humanity because this is for shits and giggles, all of this stuff, psychic investigations and all of this stuff. But what we are doing here on this channel is we are cultivating a healing chamber, an energy field where we are going to leave the world behind, drop the lower third of ourselves, the part of us that's too dense to go, and we're about to go to a higher state of consciousness, all collectively together. And so, within the silliness of these messages, it really does help us evolve and to source out what is true, what is trash from what is of substance, right? And so, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, guys. Help your girl out. Now, I want to set this up. Charlie Kirk, the incident with Charlie Kirk has happened on September 10th. It was in that September 11th vibration, right? So I want to kind of give you guys, we've done over 10 videos, right? We're just now getting to Erika Kirk. He passed away, so to speak, on the 10th of September. It's now almost 1 month later, and the psychic investigation is just now leading me into the Erika Kirk energy field, which tells me that Erika Kirk is the one that's being protected. Charlie, so to speak, was left unprotected. She's being protected, but who is she being protected by and why? Because there was major blockages in her field. We all know and we see a lot of TikToks, a lot of videos about Miss Erika. And you can watch all of those things. But for me, how I work, I'm a supernatural quantum telepathic healer. I go where the energy leads me. The energy straight away led me into some very important templates, led me to Candace Owens, led me, back to Trump. Now it's leading me here. I use what I call cosmic time clock, and that is when the energy shifts. I wait for the energy to come to me. And Erika Kirk's energy, or Erika Curry's energy, as Source calls her, has now entered the chat. And so, what I want you guys to understand is that when you stand in your Christos Christ energy as the authority, right? Because you're the upright energy. When you stand in that, they have no choice but to eventually come around and tell on themselves. And that's what she's been doing. She's been spilling the beans on herself over the past few days. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a prelude to kind of catch everyone up. And then we're going to do another deep dive into who is Erika Kirk or Erika Curry. Welcome in, everyone. Sister Sonia, T. Thomas, holding space. Hi, T. Hi, thank you. I love it. That's my nickname. Divine Reflection. Hi. Hello. Okay, awesome, awesome. So here's the thing. I'm going to catch you guys up. We're going to start with just the Erika Kirk. So here's the thing. What Source says about her is this: was giving her a name of Curry, right? And I looked up Curry and I found there's a slang meaning for curry. And essentially what it is someone that deceives someone, someone that literally will big you up or, give you all of these like compliments just to on the back end get something from you that will actually end up benefiting themselves. So from day one, Erica Kirk, Erika Kirk was always in it for self. She was always going to devour this Charlie Kirk energy. She was always going to literally be in it for self. I mean, I just can't explain that anymore. What I want to say is this: they're trying to see, this is when I know that the energy is present. They're trying to get me off of my square, but it ain't going to work because we're about to dive right back and pick up where we left off in the last video. If you have not watched part two, go ahead and watch that. I feel that we need to get right into this video. So I want to point something out to you guys. So in the last video, I wanted to say Turning Point USA, but I actually said Turning Point USO. That's what I said, Turning Point USO. So what I want to do is I found what USO actually is, because I'm going to play to you the last thing that I said, and then we're going to start back with the psychic investigation, because I think you will find that this is just very, very interesting. And yeah, so here we go. Okay. Okay, so this is the last video I did a few hours ago. So we're going to play it from here and see what source has to say about USO. Let me know if the audio's okay. It looks a little glitchy on my end. Okay, 1 second. We're okay? All right, cool. Interesting. There's something weird going on over here, guys. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share that. Eventually, Americans, we're going to have to pull out of the American line. But right now, we're on the Israel lie. So let's stay right there. The Israel lie is falling. Where is it going to be going to? It's going to be going into this vehicle called Turning Point USO. USO. You Okay. So I said, here's the thing. I said that as the Israel lie is falling down, but there's also an American lie falling down, because I said eventually we're going to, as a collective, we're going to have to pull out energetically out of America, because sources saying that Israel, the Zionists in Israel, and America, the Corporation of America, they are so indebted to each other. They've done so many deals together. They are intermingled, quantum entangled with each other so much that they have created a blood covenant. And so everything that, when you see the genocide going on in Gaza and in Palestine, just know that your country has literally brought all of us into that. So essentially, in order for us to save our soul, we're going to have to pull out of the American lie. And then I said, as we start to literally pull out of these lies, where does the money start to go? When they start to defund certain things, and this Turning Point USA is a foundation. That's what we discovered in the last reading, part two, is that the Turning Point USA, what the energy field is saying is that they are using this as a vehicle, a foundation, a vehicle to ferment the new world religion, laying the foundation down for the Antichrist. So that is because Turning Point USA has been compromised. So that was the big thing that came out in part two. But I accidentally said Turning Point USO. And I want to tell you where some of this money may start to go. Okay. So I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to explain to you what USO is. So USO is United Service Organization. It's a private, nonprofit organization that provides services and support to military service members and their families. Now, get this, you can't make this up. Get this. The word can also mean lie or not true in Japanese. Very interesting, guys. You can't make it up. So, as the money starts to funnel out of these places, because remember, I told you somehow the whole world is broke. America right now is literally selling off all of its assets. The corporation has gone belly up. It's been doing this for years, a very long time. So as United States corporation falls down along with the corporation of the Zionist Israel state, where will they put money? All they do is they fund these organizations. You think that you're investing in something good. They're going to funnel money through the United Service Organization. It's always a private company, right? Nonprofit's always nonprofit for that tax benefit. And supposed to provide services and support to military service members and their families. Now, you would say that this is a good thing. A source says it is a lie because the word in Japanese can also mean lie. So if you see Turning Point USA doing any sort of charity events involving the military, if you see a big push in the Trump administration to put money towards even veterans, right? Even more towards the military, more towards, people, trauma, that people get from war. If you start to see this movement, just know that this is where they are literally going to be moving money through as a shell company to cleanse the money, to rinse and repeat. All of these countries, these are nothing more than cartel, girl. Allegedly. The cartel, what are those people called in Italian? Mafia? Mafioso. Like that's what they are. All of these Christian organizations and these places that people go, to evangelize people, all nonsense. The individuals who sign up for it, they think they're doing the right thing, but the hands of the people who created these things are dirty. They have forever been dirty. And in fact, all of your religions, as we learned in part 1 and 2, all of your religions are entangled with an entity to recycle your energy and to harvest, the part of you that they are not, your spirit consciousness, your soul, your divine energy, your divine spark. So when you see these organizations pop up, Turning Point USA is going to prime a lot of people, a lot of who, especially young white men. They're going to prime them, but all they will be doing is priming people so that we will keep the balance of duality, so we can stay within the duality game, which when we go to the new earth vibration, we are moving from duality. We need to bring duality and the polarities back together in order to transcend the duality focal point. They know that. They want to keep us separated. So what they did was, now instead, the left lie didn't work. Remember when everyone with the Democrats and the George Floyd, which, by the way, George Floyd's birthday is on October 14th. Charlie Kirk's birthday is on, guess what? You guessed it, October 14th. What a coinkydink. All they're doing is finishing the ritual. They are literally the left with George Floyd being on October 14th, his birthday, that all of that energy that they were able to build and siphon through all those protests for George Floyd, the BLM movement, which was a scam, which we later found out was a scam. And then what? People found out the truth. And then, but what did they do? Instead of being sovereign and going in the middle, they switched to the right. And they switched so much to the right that now we've birthed something called far right. Before we had far left, now it's far right. And so now within the far right, we see, it's a war on immigration. It's a war on immigrants. It's a war on everything that doesn't look, to be a certain way. And the whole Christianity thing is back into place, and you got the people waiting for the rapture, and it's so far right that it actually ends up leading us back to where we started. So that is the ritual. It's a whole ritual. George Floyd, and then now the Charlie Kirk. These are source codes. They have the same birthday. That means that they were both a vibrational match to this ritual. And in fact, they had to find people that were a vibrational match. So whoever set Charlie up, whether he's in on it or not, and we've done a lot of videos about that, we'll get back to that. The whole point is that they would have already have known before George Floyd was even killed. And yes, we got to stop saying he died from fentanyl. You and I both know you got to look with your eyes, sometimes your physical eyes and sometimes your spiritual eyes. I don't care what he had in his system. Yeah, he was a little cracked out, but we all saw it. As of before we saw a real death, this one we saw a fake one. One, you had to open your physical eyes. The one, the George Floyd, you had to open your physical eyes, but you could not see through the physical eyes if there was any bit of racism or prejudice. You wouldn't be able to see because that is a blocker. Prejudice and racism is a blocker. And even nationalism is a blocker because, or even religion, it's all a blocker because anything that you have to uphold and argue about and go against other people, it is a blocker. And so people couldn't see it because of the things that they still need to work on inside. As of this one, if you looked with your natural eyes, you never saw Charlie die. You saw something, you saw a fiasco, you saw a lot of moving parts, but with your natural eye, there was not a death. Not right there, at least. Not right there, at least. Not with my naked eye. I never saw that. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen. But it did not happen right before our eyes, like they showed us. That did not happen. It was just a lot of chaos. So here's the thing. They would have already had to have Charlie picked before George Floyd even situation. And that was 4 years ago or so. So this thing has been in the pipeline for a very, very long time. And this Charlie Kirk situation was the end of a ritual done on September 10th. And what source said is because it was still in the vibration of September 11th. What they were able to do is piggyback off of our subconscious, trauma from that event. September 11th not only left, the world feeling unsafe, especially Americans, New Yorkers, but also too, there was, security, issues within, everyone was talking about flying, right? Now, these are the source codes. We are channeling. I'm a conversational channelist or a conscious channeler. That means I don't have to go into trance. I can channel from my conscious state of being. So here's the thing. Remember when everyone was afraid to fly back then in September 11th? What happens now? Everyone is afraid to fly because there's been a lot of plane crashes. There's been a lot of obscure objects in the sky. There's been a lot of what I call the holy wars. There's been a fight in between the cosmos and the heavens and literally our military. It's the same thing. So what they do is it's like dialing a knob and they're like, let's bring the consciousness of the collective humanity back to September 11th, 2001. And that was a major shift because we had just got out of Y2K. When everyone was going crazy about the year of 2000, they thought that the computer systems were going to crash. They wouldn't be able to recognize the year of 2000. And then the next year we get hit with, I remember getting hit with Aaliyah's passing, first. And then I think September 11th happened a few weeks after that. And within that pocket of time, there was a lot of trauma. Well, fast forward back now here, this is like 25 years later or 24 years later from September 11th. And I even wrote about that. Sorry, guys, stay with me. I wrote about this in the book that I wrote. Hold on one second. So, guys, if you do not have this book, The Great Expansion, A Cosmic Bible for the Ages, this is book one, The Ego Divide. There'll be some links down below when this ends for you guys to pick this up. In this book, it explains that humanity is on a loop. And what they do is they recycle our energy in like 4 or 8 year cycles, going all the way up to 24. We're just on a loop. And so they brought us back to a period of time where what? There was kind of some sort of reset going on. There was Y2K, there was a chaotic energy, then there was a massive, event that happened in New York where our financial systems are. People were afraid to fly. Guys, it's the same thing. We're on a reset right now or a government shutdown. It's because they are laying the foundation down for the reset. So within Erika Kirk's energy field, what we're doing is we're tapping into Turning Point USA. So I can actually tell you her energy actually is in Turning Point USA. She's not just a pretty face there. No, I'm through her energy, I'm able to now read more about Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA is a instrument or a tool that they also will use for the reset, for this financial reset, for this reset that about every 80 years, something major happens, a major shift happens on Earth. Charlie's passing, so to speak, stage passing, so to speak, put a fracture in our reality, allowing the energy to open just enough so that people will want a better tomorrow. So, right now, make no mistake about it, we have this instrument, Turning Point USA, that will appear to go back to our values of Christianity. But as we know, all the religions are in a bed with a collective entity. And I have the name of that entity, and I'm just not going to say it right now because I think everyone has prayed to it at a certain point in time, right? But maybe later. But here's the thing, that company, that foundation, is laying the foundation for the new world agenda. You know what I mean? 2030 order, all of that. And it's going to bring online a new system, one world government, is going to bring online a new monetary system, is going to bring online a reset of the system, is going to bring online a reset of our energy, which is why they had to go back, 24 years to complete this cycle. So now when we zone out, the ritual is not just within this 4 years. Thank you, Source. As it explains in this book, when they imagine you have a beat machine, right? So if you ever, I used to be in the music industry. So if you have these beat machines, right? And you can play something, you play something on the keys or on the beat machine, and you can just do it like 4 bars long, right? And what you can do is just loop that to 8 bars, 12 bars, 16, 20, 24, right? Typically, you don't have a verse longer than 24. That's a quite long verse. It would not be more than 24 bars. But when I say that the universe is coded, when we zone out, what we're looking at is literally code. We're looking at the universe is mathematical. There is someone literally, when I tell you, going in and changing things. And if you don't think that that's true, are we not able to create things with AI? People are creating things with AI. Aren't they just looping it? When you go to the news and you see all of these crisis actors, they're in one scene over here on the left side of the frame and then over here on the right side of the frame. Yeah, we've been looping for a long time. So if we can loop things, then why couldn't these deities and other energies and the people who have an invested interest in keeping us in this fishbowl, why would they not be able to do it if we can do it, right? So that's what I'm saying. So this has been humanity's kind of problem. We never understood we were on a loop. We do now. We never understood what was looping us. Well, I'm telling you, it's your religions. It's all of your organizational thinking, which it explains in this book. It's the seven deadly sins through the greed and through the lust and through the gluttony and through all of these things. What they do is they get you attached to the body. The body is the hardware. Your spirit consciousness is the software. You can change out the body and put your consciousness in another body or whatever in another body. This is just a shell that allows the applications to run effectively. So, what I'm saying is, we never understood just how technological life really was. We're coming into that understanding now. And I want to point out that AI is opening our mind up to what has always been. We've always been using AI. We actually are part of a larger AI system. Just as you can create characters and loop them, give them a script, a dialogue, and movement, don't you think someone else can do that to us? Who's to say that you're not in an AI movie right now? Because you are. Message that just came through. We're in a dream state, but we're waking up. And they know that we wake up. So around every 80 years, because they know that we finally catch on to things, we wake up. They got to put us back to sleep. So what they do is they use these events. And the event that we're really truly feeling, it's not just Charlie, it's the September 11th. Thank you, Source. I want you to understand this is the energy field that they have colluded. Somehow they were able to take the Charlie, and even George Floyd is part of this because it started the loop, the 4 bars or the 4-year loop for us to even anchor ourselves back into the 24-year cycle that we've been on. So now that we understand this thing and that we can get free when we reclaim our sovereignty and we get out of all these false religions. And in fact, you have to start denouncing these things because it is attached to an entity that instead, when you pray to it, it's actually praying on you. Because how do you get the lower vibration? How do you get the lesser God? Is when you are lowered in frequency. Most people are praying from a deficit. And that is when you get the lesser God, because source is always the highest vibration. Source is not going to lower itself to pick you up. That's going to be an entity or some sort of deity that you're going to get because it needs something from you. Source will always meet you at the higher vibration, the highest thought, the highest level of consciousness. Okay? So now that we could get free and this 80-year cycle ends, what they're using right now is the September 11th energy field. Charlie Kirk is in that field. BLM is in that field. George Soros is in that field. We got all the globalists, the socialists, the capitalists. We got the Trumpians and all of these different, secret societies, the Freemasons, and the deep state is what Erika Curry or Erika Kirk, what we were channeling for her. All of this is in the field. But the big thing is that all of this now is added to the September 11th energy, where people just didn't know what's going to happen next because it's a turning point. And the turning point is a new, literally after the reset, it's a new vibration. It's a new field. It's a new time. It's a new age. It's a turning point. But where are they turning us to? They're looping us. We're not turning to go straight forward. We're turning because they're about to loop us around again, yet again. Yet again. Now, If you guys have watched the other videos, you know I do automatic writing. And all that is you're just doodling on a piece of paper. You don't know what you're writing. It's not until I look back and I allow source to uncode it that it tells a story. And I've been keeping up with these for the better part of a month. And I'm not going to show all of them, but I want to we have to draw our attention to X, right? Because this is very important. I'm going to check here, make sure that everything is still okay with the audio and everything. Make sure you guys can still hear me because on my end it's glitchy, but this is what they do because they don't want us getting free, right? So there's a very common thread in all of these psychic investigations with Charlie, with Candace Owens, with Erika Kirk. I haven't gotten to Trump yet, but we will. The energy will lead us there, right? There's always an X that shows up in every single one of the automatic writings, right? There's always an X. And I want us to examine that because I'm going to tell you how I think the X is attached to the entity as well. Because in truth, once we remove this collective entity, we can get free. This is why why is it you keep praying and praying and yeah, you might get one or two prayers answered, but it's still heavy because I'm telling you guys, it is an entity. And I'm not here to go through what God is real and what God is whatever. I've come to my own conclusion through the work that it is that I do. And source is supreme, and source doesn't need anything from you. Source is the energy that always is, always was, therefore will always be. It doesn't need you to give it money, doesn't need your praise. It don't need nothing from you but for you to evolve in consciousness. And it will allow you to take as long as it is that you need to. Because eventually every energy returns back to its source.